right, so let me check this mic real quick. Let me check this mic. All right, so let me check this mic real quick. All right, so it's all right. So good. Yeah, so with that, all the praises and the glory to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakar, Gudash. And double honors to the apostles of the great known stone that have taught us this truth, to include and the elder bishops as well, and Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Brakatham, to all of the brothers out there that's forwarding this truth worldwide. You know, and yeah, just getting into the usual, you know, getting into what we see happening with the East right now. You know, America, Israel, and as well as Iran, you know, just getting into things of that nature, which very well definitely includes prophecy, prophetic times we're living in. And, you know, there's some stuff that I want to get into. And now, first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a scripture, and it's out of the book of Obadiah 1, and yeah, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom. And we have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, and thou art greatly despised. Verse 3 is the point, though. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest whose habitation is high, who save in his heart, who shall bring thee down to the ground? Yeah. And the thing with America, and just as well as Edom overall, you know, we know that accordingly to the blessing which Isaac gave of his son Esau, which the blessing that was given to Esau is pretty much you know, being shown right now, that they are in a blessing, and their blessing is to rule with the military power. That's what they did in ancient Rome, and that's what they're doing in this revival version of Rome as well. And so they pride themselves with the military power. And yes, with the military power that they had, they were able to do so much more. Okay, especially beginning with the Let me bring this down a little bit. Let's bring this down just a little bit. Yeah, just bear me for 1 minute. All right. Yeah, that should do it. Yeah, so like I was saying, you know, with the military power that Esau had once upon a time, especially on this side of the spectrum, you know, you want to talk about the British Empire, how they were able to go from, you know, from country to country to get their way. And so, you know, in regards to that, they were ruling with their blessing. And it's been a while since they've been getting their way. And now we're at a turning where things are changing, because, you know, Iran is a different beast altogether to deal with. You know, it wasn't like how it was back in the day when they went and you know, infiltrated these countries that I haven't said anything about these countries that they've invaded, but they've invaded countries like South Africa, you know, and many other places, but that's just the only place which comes to mind right now. And it was easy for them. Okay. So, you know, once again, Iran is like, you know, like I said, this is a different beast to tackle. Right. And, you know, these people are very well versed in war, where it concerns, you know, defending themselves and what have you. And they're not going for it. And America's never really dealt with someone or a nation that has the ability to stand on their own 2 feet and defending themselves. And it's gotten so bad now that DJ Trump decided to call on, you know, Vladimir Putin to stop the war. But I say this, man, look, you know, you got into something, now you're going to have to finish it. They're going to have to finish it because it's looking like Iran, they're just going to continue to go. You know, so let's read this again. The proud of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. Okay, right. Yes, the water about that. Water for telling me how my garment looks, man. Because I don't want to be looking crazy out here. You know what I mean? Try to get everything right. You know, that's why you gotta be thankful for, you know, for the those that are in the household of faith all together that watch your back, man. You got the brothers, and as well as you got certain sisters out here that believe in this thing. You know, so yeah, the water for that. Yeah, so as this reads, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that save in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Absolutely. So that's been the attitude all around, is that they felt as though they could not be taken down because for so many years they've been on top. They've been conquering nations. They've been conquering nation after nation after nation. And they've had the world on lock. So dude, now they have to deal with a different beast altogether. Like I said, Iran is a different beast. And they're not backing down. And plus they got two superpowers backing. They got Russia and China. So they didn't expect what they see happening right now with Iran. They didn't expect, you know, that state in the East to get pelted here and there. It's getting out of hand now. So now Trump's thing is to call Putin up, you know, to go on a call. And there's a higher degree of a reason for that. And we're going to get into that real soon. All right. So as this reads, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that save in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And that's the mentality that Esau has. So with that mentality, guess what? There's going to be a great fall. There's going to be a great despair that Babylon the Great is going to experience. A downfall like no other nation has experienced. Like we keep talking about. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to read some stuff, man, in regards to what I was saying. Just elaborate a little bit more, because this guy, Scott Ritter, he brought it out. And I thought he was talking about the news which came out 3 days ago of Trump doing such a thing. But no, this is some recent stuff right here that I have as well. All right. Recently, he's actually done this. More recent than 3 days ago. So as this read says, Scott Ritter, Trump calls Putin for Iran war ramp. So as this reads, just to get to the point here, welcome back. We are joined today by Scott Ritter, a former UN weapons inspector, a U.S. Marine Corps intelligence officer, and also an author. So thank you for coming on. Trump has called Putin, and they had this conversation, I assume, about ending the Iran war and also the Ukraine war, although I suspect the emphasis, or to emphasize, was on the former. The Russian refers to this call as frank. They did not use the word friendly, so I was wondering, what do you read into all of this? What do you suspect they discussed? Scott Ritter, and this is just the transcript of this interview, right? Well, a lot of speculation thrown into that one, I think. We do know that it was Trump who initiated this call. So this is an American-initiated call, and we also know that Russia has, to the dismay of some surprise of others, kept the door open for diplomacy with the U.S., despite the U.S. being less than a perfect diplomatic partner. So that's all I'm going to read right there. So going all the way back years ago, in the House, America has always been so geared towards dealing with Iran. That was the last nation that they would conquer. And I believe it was this, I got the guy's name, man, but he's an insider. And he announced that there was like, what, several countries and more, and Iran was the last country that they would take down. He mentioned, what is it? He mentioned what? Iraq was one of them. Baghdad was one of them. And I think he also mentioned Syria, if I'm correct. But the last one he mentioned was Iran. You know what I'm saying? But the thing with, again, Iran has its own military might of its own. All right. And it also ties into Bible prophecy too, how the Carmanians will be arranging and that they would remember their nature. That's in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. You know what I'm saying? So it's all going down. And what they were saying, due to this war that's being had, this war can cause a global, a global problem. All right, with the Strait of Hormuz. And we're talking about, the oil going up. Because when you don't have a lot of oil, when you don't have oil coming through that area to, the west, so to speak, then what's going to happen? Now you're going to have a lack of oil, and a lack of oil then it brings about what? Inflation. You understand? And then there's some other stuff that is brought forth over there. You have what is such as a thing of what? Your fertilizers and these things. So if there's a lack of fertilizer that you need from over there, then guess what that's going to cause? That's going to cause inflation with your food. So now everything's going to go up regardless of what. And even without the fertilizer, just based on the fact that oil is going to be scarce, everything's going to go up anyway, because everything depends on oil. Oil is a form of energy that you need. All right. Especially where it concerns America, it's going to hit America the worst, and other places too. But primarily America is going to hit America where it hurts. All right. And I want to read this now to tie this in what I just read, right? As this reads, this is Isaiah 5 and verse 15. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. Absolutely. Because for so long, America's been going with this high and mighty sense of pride. And now they're realizing with this war of Iran, it isn't really going accordingly to plan. And what the world is realizing is that they have a limited of power. See, the thing with DJ Trump, and as well as the administrations which came prior before Trump, they was all like, believing in this notion that we're the best ever, and they were the best ever. They were the best military. Let's just keep it real. Let's give them some acknowledgement on that. They were the best ever. But again, it's a time and a place. It was a time and a place for Esau to be the best, where it concerns their military might and what they were able to accomplish. All right. There was a time and a place for that, but now is a time and a place for the losing thereof. As that's written in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter. I want to pull that out real quick. And first I want to read this. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. So now let's go all the way down to verse 6, a time to get, and a time to lose, and a time to keep, and a time to cast away. So the point is now we're in a time of America losing, big time. And not just America, but the West overall. And what we're seeing is, as well as what we've been prophesying for all these years, any doggone way, is that the West is going to be divided against itself. And much more now than ever before. Britain didn't even react and respond to when America was attacking Iran. They didn't respond in due time. You understand what I'm saying? So everything's just going wrong right now for these people. And the more they go and the more they try to succeed in progressing, with their agenda. Let me use that word instead. The more they try to proceed with their agendas, the more things are going to backfire against them. Because we're in that time now where Esau is coming under the curses, where everything that they do, it's just not going to go. It's not going to go according to plan. It's not going to function correctly at all. This is it. You know what I'm saying? So that dark cloud of the curse is just about to be upon them. So from this point and forward, things are just going to get worse. The more they try to force the hand to get what they want, is the more there's going to be some sort of a backlash. This is the reality and time that we're living in right now, where it concerns Edom. So let me see what else I can read. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so that's all I got to read with that real quick. So let me go back up and read these precepts here. And yeah, and speaking about what I was reading too, I want to include this precept. This is Jeremiah 49 and verse 20. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he have purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, right? And surely shall make their habitations desolate with them. Exactly. So it was already preordained, and now we're seeing the working of the Lord, his counsel being brought into fruition right now. Now, when you look up the word counsel, the word is Aisha, which means to make or to plant. So the Lord already planned it out. So being that things have gotten out of control with this war of Iran between America and Israel, now they trying to pull out of it, but there ain't no pulling out of what you started. Now America's just gonna have to go forward with it. This is what they wanted for so many years, and now they got what they wanted. But because things ain't going according to plan, now they want to back out of it. They want to yield back all of a sudden. There ain't no yielding back. Listen, you might as well just keep it going. You know what I'm saying? Might as well. You know, like the saying goes, finish what you start. All right? They're going to have to finish what they started, man. And the reason why they can't come out of it now, because again, let's take it to a high, let's even take it to a higher degree. The Heavenly Father pronounced it already. So now what is Esau going to do about it? Esau can't do diddly squat about it. You know? So anyway, the last resort of that is that they're going to be desolate. They're going to be desolate. You know? So the word right here, which I've already yeah, so let me see what else we can get out of this too. Yeah, let me read this too. So as this reads, the earth is moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry of the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea, and behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread his wings over Basra. At that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as heart of a woman in her pangs. Absolutely. So they're going to be as mighty as they want to be, or project that they might. But what's going to be the end result? The result is that they're gonna get involved in a war that they're not going to be able to back out of, and they're going to bitch up. And to a smaller degree, this is what we're seeing Trump do. He's going to Putin, calling them to see if they can kind of, get this war to stop. All right. But guess what? As the scripture says, there is no peace save the Lord unto the wicked. Even they that be in the land of the east, and they call it Jerusalem, which the term Jerusalem means the city of peace. So accordingly to prophecy, as they said, when they went over there in 48, that was supposed to be the beginning of them being in peace. All right. But more and more as the time progresses, from the time when he got out, from the time when he landed on that land and onwards, it's just been complications between those two individuals. Them so-called Arabs over there and among themselves. It's just been this confusion. And now it's waxing even worse. Things are getting pretty much, dysfunctional over there. All right. And the reason for that is because they're not the people that's deserving to be there in the first place. Two of their asses. All right. So let me read this again because I kind of read over it. So I want to read this again. So as this reads, the earth is moved at the noise of their fall. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. So that their fall is going to be so great. And the reason why I'm reading the scripture over here as I keep reading, because we're in that time. We're in the time of what? Jeremiah 49 and verse 20. So the impact, the downfall of America, or the destruction of it, which is known as Babylon the Great, is going to be so great that it's going to be even heard in the East. Now we can even include Revelation the 18th chapter. Revelation the 18th chapter tells us clearly that even them nations, the merchants among them, are going to be where? In a sad case. Because when America's done for and it goes belly up in the smoke, now there's no business. Now there's no success. Now all of these nations got a result of being poor, primarily China in this case. Because China became so progressively successful based off of doing business with America greatly. So when America's no more, there ain't gonna be no more business. All right, business is gonna be out about. Now these nations are gonna result right back to where they came from, being poor. All right. So not only are they going to be poor, but they're going to be in a state of great desolation, because we know China's going to get involved in this. Russia's going to get involved in this. All of these nations that, you could say that they're superpowers because they possess the nuclear weapons. Guess what? They're all going to take a grand L, and they're going to lose miserably, and they're going to kill a lot of their own people. And guess what? The ones of them are going to be sunken into their underground bunkers. And even they're going to be devastated, because the impact is going to be so great coming from those ICBM nuclear missiles. It's going to shake the world to a whole different meaning, bro. It's going to be serious. All right. And this is where the saints are going to come to rule the planet Earth. The nation of Israel. We, the nation of Israel, are going to rule the next planet Earth. All right. And when I say the next planet Earth, I didn't mean to say the next planet Earth. Like there's going to be an actual next planet Earth. I'm talking about we're going to be the ones that rule next in this planet Earth. Because if everybody's so fucked up after this war, who's going to take the leadership position? It's going to have to be somebody, right? And that somebody is going to be us. We're going to take we're going to take the position next. So as this reads, behold, he shall come up and fly as the eagle and spread his wings over Basra. So the Lord is going to come and intervene in this mess that they're going to cause, that the Lord is going to allow them to cause. And he's coming back in a very angelic way. So when he comes back, he's coming back in that ginormous ship, that father ship, as we call it. Some will say, oh, the mothership, but we call it the father ship, because the father's power is going to be with his son in that ship. All right. And Yahweh Shai, he's going to pretty much exemplify the right hand of his father, the right hand power of his father in heaven. Oh, absolutely. Okay. So, yeah, let's get more into this, shall we? And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as a heart of a woman in her pangs. And in this case, now that I say, when they see the Lord coming back, they're going to see the real power. They thought that they was the power over the earth, which they were. Let's give it to them. The Lord gave them the power, again, to rule for a particular point in time. Now the Lord is going to come back and show who's really boss of the planet. And that's why they're going to be shook themselves. That's why they're going to be as a woman in that day. Okay? So they were mighty in all of this stuff. And guess what? The Lord is going to pretty much bow the head of those that were once upon a time mighty. And I want to read that again in the book of Isaiah, the 5th chapter, speaking about the mighty, right? And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled. And the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. Absolutely. So when everybody is brought down from their might, guess who's going to be exalted only in that day? The Lord will. As this reads, but the Lord Yahweh of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and and the Most High that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, in the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. So that's going into something else. But the point is that the Lord is going to be exalted in that day. All right, the Heavenly Father is going to be exalted, and as well as the elect, which were connected with the Heavenly Father, are going to be exalted in that day, as well as it's written that the meek shall inherit the earth. All right, and the elect, they're going to have what you call spiritual power. They're going to have that glow to them. And it's going to be well known that these are the sons of the living power, and it's going to be they which will possess the next world. The kingdom of heaven, which is coming here on this planet Earth. We're going to possess the next world that's coming next. After the smoke and dust is cleared, so to speak. As I just read in the book of Jeremiah, what is it? Yeah. Is it Jeremiah? Yeah, Jeremiah 49 and verse 21, where it reads that the Lord what? Shall spread his wings over over Basra as the eagle. So when the Lord comes back, what is he going to do? He's going to deliver. And is he going to add insult to injury dramatically? Yes, he will. Okay, so you're going to have the nuclear missiles that's going to bring about this destruction of the civilization. But then again, you also have to include the Lord. He's going to bring his fire to the mix too. All right, and this place is going to be leveled. Oh, absolutely. This place is going to be pretty much done away with in the greatest fashion you ain't never seen before in your life. And that's what's being prepared on this earth right now. All right. So this is the time to be alive, man. This is the time to be alive. Yeah, so now let's get into this real quick. Let's get right into the list of things that I have. Now I have some news over here. Now originally this is from the RT. You can't really check out the RT where you're at, but I mean you can get the app though, and you can check the app out. But just on the Google, you can't really get into it. So what I did was I found this article over here. This is AustralianNews.net. So what they've done is they've copied what was said on RT. So as this reads here, is the Iran war the one America can't win and can't end? As the conflict drags on, the U.S. faces a dangerous dilemma. The 12th day of the war with Iran is coming to a close. And it's clear that this conflict will last longer than the brief skirmish of last summer. It's also evident that one of the three scenarios we outlined in our initial analysis is no longer relevant. The U.S. hasn't been able to achieve the quick collapse or surrender of Iran, and we don't know if it's coming to a close. We don't know that. We'll have to wait and see. They trying to bring it to a close, but the way it's looking right now, it's looking like this thing's going to continue on for some time, man. Just to include. So let me read this part again. The U.S. haven't been able to achieve the quick collapse or surrender of Iran. And the thing with Iran doesn't have it in them to surrender. They don't need to surrender. They're doing a good job over there. And how they're dealing with American bases and stuff like that, and how they're getting that on Israel. They're doing just fine. So why do they need to yield back for? The only nations that have to yield back are the nations that ain't getting their way over there. The nations that are losing miserably, they're the nations that's going to have to yield the hell back. All right. And just to include this as well, I don't really care what's happening between these two nations. I'm not vouching for neither one of these nations, man. What we are in Great Millstone is we're pro prophecy. That's it. All right. As far as we know, these nations, they can get it in all day, every day, to the point of the time where they're going to have to use these nukes on their own asses. And then from that point, we gonna rule this earth in righteousness. Really what our concern is. You know, we ain't on neither side. We ain't on the side of Israel. We ain't on the side of Iran. What we're on the side of is prophecy, baby. All right. Also known as the counsel of the Lord, which will stand. That's what we support over here. The White House was counting on a blitzkrieg approach, but now it's apparent that there was no plan B in case of failure, And the Trump administration underestimated Iran's resolve, and it didn't believe Iran would retaliate, let alone block the Strait of Hormuz or launch attacks on the Gulf monarchies, right? So all they got to do is just close the Strait of Hormuz, and everything will literally just fall apart for America, especially economically. All right, just do away with the oil, and everything's just going to go up in price. Even if there's no fertilizer. If you take the fertilizer out of the equation, America is still in trouble. The world is still in trouble due to the Strait of Hormuz, primarily. All right, but the focus is on America. That's all he got to do. Ain't got to do too much. All right, and what's happening right now? There's been reports that certain areas in America, if I'm correct, certain areas in America, gas has already gone up now. You know, so we're already there. We're already in that time where it's not looking too good. It's not looking too good at all because of the Strait of Hormuz in regards to, now being that that's happened, the scarcity of oil is in effect. All right. Yeah. So so this leaves us with two possible outcomes: a ceasefire in the near future, or a projected war of attrition. Just like I said, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. Could they stop this thing? There's a possibility they could stop it, but there's also a possibility this thing could keep going as well. All right, because when you really check out this Iranian war, this also plays into the collapsing of the society anyway, which is what the powers that be ultimately want, which is going to be the final nail in the coffin. And that way they can pretty much bring us into a world of a great deal of surveillance and what have you, right? But you know what they need is an event, a good enough event which is going to cause, which is going to pretty much have it so that it'll be reasonable to create more surveillance, just like what happened pushing 25 years ago when the Twin Towers fell apart. That was to bring in the Patriot Act, which was to bring some form of surveillance at the time. So just imagine in this time that we're living in right now, fast forwarding from that time to now, if you have another event such as that, let's just say 10 times more, then now Esau can pretty much formulate a society 10 times more surveillance. And that's what they ultimately want. They want a Orwellian dystopian society where every single thing is being microly analyzed. You got cameras all over the place zooming in on what you're saying. And then also let's not even forget you being microchipped. And this is the world they want to bring about. Okay, and this is something that we of course, we were taught of the elder apostles, and the Heavenly Father has revealed all of this stuff to us, right, by these men. The Lord, what I wanted to say is the Lord led us to be aware of these men and to learn of these men. And so these men taught us what they taught us. That's why once again we give double honors to the elder apostles. All right, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't even know what the hell's going on out here. So it was because of these men that we know, and now we can see what the hell's happening currently, and also we can also very well understand that there's going to be more future events which will occur and take place. All right. And so when these things happen, we don't get too caught off guard. We don't get surprised. The only thing we can get is excited. That's it. All right. Because every single thing that we've been saying, beginning with the elder apostles, whom we were taught under, and from what we've been saying, is showing. It's declared. It's now it's falling into fruition. And the greatest thing that could ever be is that Yahushua comes back and establishes his kingdom here on this earth. That's really what we're expecting. All right. And it's very near and dear. It's very close. Yeah. So now let me read this now. This is what? 2nd Ezra 16. And verse 3. So as this sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? And plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? So the Lord prefers plagues on the earth, and who's gonna quench it? Ain't nobody gonna come in what the Lord is doing on this earth, especially something that's already been preordained to happen. Hence is why we call it prophecy. All right. So even if DJ Trump, and let's just say to include, even if, let's just say they have it in mind to pull back from this war, guess what? This thing is still going to go forward. It's still going to go forward. Why? Because, okay, yeah, there are men that's forwarding this situation, but there's someone higher than these men. Okay, yeah, they're political figureheads with a certain position of power in their own right, but there's a higher power that's directing them to do what they're doing. And this is where we come in to warn you that what? A thing such as the second destruction is on the verge. And the reason why all of this stuff is happening, just as well as we've mentioned so many times, and I've mentioned it, the other day, last week, is because of the wrongs that was done to our people. So the Lord really is pleading for our people in this war. That's really why the Third World War is being had, because of all of the wrongs that they have done unto our people and all of the wrongs that they have done here on this earth and destroying the earth. So now that's going to have to be paid for. This is the time we're in right now. So I say, call Yahweh Bahashmi for that. Now, right now, the Lord is beginning to plead for us. And when I say plead, the Lord ain't, bowing down to the nations and come on. How can a whole power bow down to men whom he's created? Okay, so we're in a moment in time right now where the Lord is what? Pleading for us in regards to fighting for us. He's judging the nations for us now. And it begins here right now. Okay, that's why you got the state in the East, man. They get into business. America wants to back out of it because they see what they've gotten involved in. But as the scripture says, a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? And they wanted the sword, they wanted the destruction. So there ain't no turning back. The only thing that Esau can do now is enjoy the thing that he very well most wanted for all these years, and to get into it. That's the only thing. They asked for it, so now they're gonna have to deal with it. That's all there is to it. And let's include this over here, Isaiah 55 and verse 11. So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. And it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. And it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Absolutely. So these words are going to prosper regardless of what. It makes no difference. I can't stop it. No one can stop it. It is what it is. So the only thing that we can do is to tell it like it is to give you the information, to give you the word of the Lord, and that's just how it's going to go down. Now, we don't expect everybody to get this. Really, what we're teaching is our people. You so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians. We ain't teaching most people to get to understand this thing. And those that descend from the tribes. That's it. So all of these recordings that we're doing and whether we be in-house or whether we be outside, it's all for the doing of reminding you that the Lord is getting ready to judge this place, and you have to repent so that you can be covered. That's as far as it goes, because it's coming close. The perilous times, which will be Jacob's trouble, is pretty much on the verge of happening. All right. And there's stuff happening right now, man. There's news going out right now as I speak. If you go on the X, you can clearly see that. There's stuff going on right now. So the point is that the Lord have already declared his word, and the Lord ain't going to repent of his word. So ain't nobody coming out of anything. It is what it is. And even as of right now, what you got right now, let me bring that back. It's lucky about that. Right now, in the state of the East, you know, they're getting afflicted by you know, Iran and stuff like that. This is happening right now in Tel Aviv. Who would have thought? But now it's happened. All right? Because we're in that time now. We're in that time where the wicked are beginning to be judged for the wrongs that they have done unto our people, beginning with Amalek. You want to talk about the slave trade? They was behind that. Overall and through. There's a lot of information that came out about that. And many more of the things. They've always been behind Jake's downfall. So now they're going to have to pay the piper. And this is just an app. And what you see happening over there is just an appetizer for what's really going to come down the pipe. Because there's going to be a greater deal of a destruction. How can I put it? When the third woe is being had in effect, there's going to be an ultimate overthrow of a destruction that the Lord has for them. Yes, America, we can include, but also over there in the land of the East, they which claim to be the people of the Bible. There's an overthrow of a judgment of a destruction that's coming for them so bad that land is just going to be a no land. But guess what? There's going to be a returning and a rebuilding. All right, because that land right there, we're going to dwell in that land, and that land is going to be our land, and it's going to be beautiful. So during the time of King Solomon and King David, that land is going to pretty much go back to what it was. So we're going to be restored as a people, and that land is going to be builded back up. That's why the scripture says we shall build back the desolate waste. Okay? So Bible prophecy proves what's going to happen on this earth, man. That these nations, they going to get it in until there's nothing left of them. Hardly. Now, you're going to have some, of course, you're still going to have nations dwelling on the earth and, you know, doing as they may. But a lot of people are going to be out of here, man. All right, so let me check something out real quick because I see the lives, I see some chats and stuff. Oh yeah. Let me read this. This is what is it? Shahar of Yahweh. Obadiah 1 and 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Exactly. So for the things that they have done on the Jacob, they're going to be cut off. The water, brother. You know. And they're going to be cut off in the worst way. And the greatest way which they will be cut off is based off of this war that's being had right now, which can escalate. But we're going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see what happens. Can he pull this thing back? Yeah, they could probably pull it back. Which is what, you know, DJ Shumbov called Putin to do, right? I guess to tell Iran, look, you know, kind of, you know, just fall back on it. But we don't know. All we got to do is just, you know, check the news out and see what's happening and see where this thing goes. That's all we can really do. All right. So, yeah, so let me read this as well. This is Zechariah 12 and verse 1. And the burden of the word of the Lord Yahweh, for Israel save the Lord, which stretched forth the heavens and lay of the foundation of the earth, and form of the spirit of man within them. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of troubling unto all people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and Jerusalem. Now, I'm going to qualify this, because originally what I want to say is in regards to the siege. This is what was had during the time of Assad, but primarily in Jerusalem, when you had, Titus and Domitian, and I believe the father of them too was Vespasian. This is, you know, ancient Roman history, which happened 2,000 years ago. And so you had the besiegement of Jerusalem, because you had those military powers that came in and brought an end to that state at the time. So it was so bad that they couldn't get food. They couldn't, the Israelites that were stuck in that land, which Yahweh already told them, look, the abominations and the desolation is going to come in there, right? So they should have had fled in it. As Yahweh said in the book of Matthew 24, but they didn't. They didn't listen. Now you had a decent fled out, right? As when you read the book, it says what? 1 million Israelites fled out of the land, and they went into different parts around the planet Earth. This is why you have our people in West Africa today. The Israelites that are down there today. All right. So they were the descendants of those that left. And the ones of those that stayed in there, they suffered, they suffered that famine. And when you're caught up in the famine, you eat anything that's right around you, whether it's the leaves on the trees or whether it's the grass, or resorting to cannibalism. That's what happened in Jerusalem at the time. All right, so that's just for the qualification of that scripture over there. So what I want to do is I want to read this now in verse 3. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. So now we're dealing with that land. That land is a burdensome stone right now, more so now than ever before. And it always has been a burdensome stone because you got two kinds of people that's claiming to belong there. Them so-called Palestinians, they're claiming to say that, look, this is we've been here way before y'all came. And then you got these Jays saying, oh yeah, we're the original people of the Bible. And that land is for us. We deserve that land. All right, but neither one of these nations belong in that land. That land is for us. All right. So that's one of the reasons why it's a burden stone unto those nations. And all that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces. So here goes these words again, cut in pieces. Though all of the people of the earth be gathered together against it. Exactly. All right. And we know America too. When we go up and read, what is it? I ain't gonna read it, but Jeremiah 49 and verse the 20th chapter tells us how they're gonna be cut off. All right. And they that burden themselves with it. So as well as it reads to that, what is it? The least of the flock shall draw them out. So now in this war. Another thing I was checking out too is Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, it's been said that he's been MIA, missing in action for a while. All right, but then he did like this. He came back and did this. He went live speaking about a couple of things. So he's cool and everything. But I thought, man, like something must have been had, or and just checking out different videos of what people have been saying over there and what have you about the guy, right? But my original thought was that he's running away from the situation that he's caused. But then you had people on X saying that, oh yeah, well, he could have passed away, this or that could happen to him because of what happened to his brother and what happened. All right. So he's back on the scene now. I mean, we don't know, man. We really don't know because they could be using AI too. But we just know, man, like this world is crumbling apart, and especially more into do with this war that's happening right now. All right. Yeah. So anyway, let me read this. Let me read something else. Let's go and read Ezekiel 36 and verse 5, right? As this reads, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely the least of the flock, right? The least of the flock, excuse me, not the least of the flock. What am I doing? Ezekiel 36 and verse 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen. and against all Idumea, right? Which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all of their heart, with the spiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey. So that land right now has been prophesied, according to the book of Ezekiel 36, that has been given into the hand of the residue of the heathen. Okay? And it mentions that the Lord what? The Lord is against all Idumea, showing you that those people over there are the Idumeans today. So they would rather fit this prophecy than fitting the prophecy of those which have went back, saying that they're the Jays that went back to the land. Because if that was the case, then there would be no wars among the nations. There would be no bombings which would be had over there on neither side. Even Lebanon would be at peace. Lebanon is getting messed up as a result of this war. So according to Bible prophecy, Isaiah chapter 2, when the Israelites return back to the land, the nations will not lift up sword against nation anymore. So I say yet once again, Ezekiel 36 and verse 5 is more fitting where it concerns them Edomites that are in the land claiming to be us. All right? Which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all of their hearts, with the spiteful minds to cast it out for a prey. Now, when you read the the document, which I think the document was written after the First World War. What was it called? What was that document called? And that document was to officialize that they could get that land. What was it called, man? The Balfour Declaration Act. The Balfour Declaration Act document. That document pretty much solidified that they were afforded to be in that land. All right. So again, I say this was a prophecy that which was fulfilled, which is Ezekiel 36 and verse 5. Okay. And so as this reads, prophesy therefore concerning the land of Israel, and sing unto the mountains and to the hills and to the rivers and to the valleys. Thus saith the Lord power, behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my fury, because you have borne the shame of the heathen. Right? And therefore said the Lord power, I have lifted up mine hand and show the heathen that are about you, they shall bear their shame. Exactly. So Yahweh Shai is going to come on this earth, and that's how Yahweh is going to lift up his hand. Now, hand is also symbolic of power. So when the Lord comes back, he's going to show his son, and his son is going to get busy on these streets. Not on these streets, but busy in the heavens and on these streets too. All right. And when the Lord gets done with what he's going to do, guess what? We're going to be the next. We're going to be the next to rule next, and we're going to rule in complete righteousness. But this shit over here has to be eradicated. It has to be gone. It has to be no more. And we're closing into that moment in time, that particular point in time. We're closing into where it's going to just it's going to be batshit crazy out here. All right. It's going to get wild. You're going to have nations shooting missiles from one place to another place. This is what we're going to bear witness to. All right. But guess what? We're going to bear witness to it, but we're going to be delivered and saved out of it too. All right. So it's all good. It's going to be all good. And speaking about that as well, right? Speaking about that, prophesy, right? Speaking about prophecy, let's take it to Ezekiel 35 real quick. Because this is really what we're doing right now. Ezekiel 35 and verse 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. And this war of Iran is the beginning stages of that. Okay? We're in the beginning stages of America being led to that point, and also that land over there in the east. Okay? As this reads, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, save the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Say, if thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So they're gonna get the same energy they dish back on the earth. All right, the violence that they waged against people on the earth, primarily the apple of the Lord's eye, more precisely, the Lord is gonna get them back a lot more than what they've done unto us. Because what you don't do is you don't mess with the Lord's people in their time of their calamity, and also when their iniquity had an end. And the kind of folk you don't want to be playing around are the prophets, and that's who they're gonna try to get at, to persecute. It's us. We're the servants of the prophets. They're gonna try to persecute us, and that's when the Lord is gonna move against these nations, man, that try to do that. Primarily the nation of Edom. Because in the book of Revelations, it clearly states that that land also had the blood of the saints. All right. Now, doesn't it say in the book of Psalms that the Lord reproveth kings for their sakes? Let's read that. Let's read that. There's them prophets are the Most High's special men, but you don't want to be dealing with, man. You don't want to be afflicted. So let's read that. Psalms 105, if I'm correct. Verse 12. When they were but few men in number, yea, very few and strangers in it, when they went from one nation to another, from one kingdom to another people, he suffered no man to do them wrong. Yea, he reproveth kings for their sakes, saying, touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. All right. So that's the point. He reproveth kings for their sake, showing you how important and essential the prophet is in the eyes of the Lord versus the kings on the earth. Even in Israel, and even in times of when the other nations ruled, especially during the time of Nebuchadnezzar, guess what? The prophets were above the kings, because the prophets were nothing more than men which were sent, or ambassadors of the Most High Himself. So if you wanted to inquire of what was going on, you know, especially when you Rebecca, when Rebecca had the two brothers in the womb fighting, she didn't know what was going on. She didn't understand. She didn't get it. So what did she go and do? She went to inquire to a seer, the Lord, which in this case, which was a prophet. And then the prophet broke it down what the situation was. All right. So the prophets were very, very integral men. You know, not integral, but important men. Let me use that word instead. They were important men to the Lord, and He was sent them out to fulfill His purpose in telling the people what the deal was going to be, or to break something down, things that were like way beyond the people's understanding. All right, that was their purpose, and this was just like what we're doing right now. We're going into stuff that most people don't understand concerning the Bible. We're speaking about prophecies, current events, which is going to pretty much go beyond the people. But when it does come, it's going to be in their reality, and they're not going to know what's going to hit them, because they didn't take heed. They didn't hearken unto the counsel of the Lord, which is of the prophets. All right. And the prophets are here right now. Before the Lord brought an empire to an end, He sent His prophets on the street. And yes, you have many Israelite camps all around the planet Earth. Yes, indeed. Yes, you do have this. Okay. But there's a company of prophets that have the 100% truth The message, the true message from Yahweh Shah. Okay, and it's a great millstone, and I have to say that because you got a lot of BS camps out there, and Great Millstone's kept it real since day one, since the split. We can even say, all right. And while in the midst of us being real about what we've been preaching about, many have fallen, and many have sold out their church, as well as what we see today. You could talk about the boys in purple. You could talk about the boys in white. You could talk about the boys in black, looking like the Black Panther Party. All right, these three major camps that came from the old One West school. Man, these guys sold out, man. That's why they can't teach the truth. That's why they're going on these silly ass shows on YouTube of these different individuals doing these vain debates, which leads to nothing. And this is something that the Lord didn't tell us to do. Let me reiterate just a little bit differently. Let me say differently than what I just said. Debates is not something that the Lord told us to do. All right. And as a matter of fact, debate is something that is wicked. That's in the book of Romans, the 1st chapter. I don't have to go and get it. But Paul mentions the things which are evil or wicked. And he mentioned debate. All right. So we ain't here to debate. The Lord didn't send his prophets to debate or to market something that the Lord is giving them to market. The Lord never gave us this truth. Let me say that one and better. The Lord never gave us this truth to market. He gave us this truth to preach it in the purest form, in the way that he wants us to preach it. All right. So that's the thing, man. Anyway, let's read this again. When they went from one nation to another, from one kingdom to another people, he suffered no man to do them wrong. Yea, he reproved the kings for their sake. So when prophets, what do you think the Lord is going to do with that information? The Lord is going to exact vengeance upon our enemies that persecute us, especially these Edomites at the very top. All right. He's going to move on them. Yeah, so anyway, I want to go and get this over here. Zechariah. Actually, I read it already. Yeah, let's tie this in with what I was reading before, because I was reading Ezekiel 35, right? And I read how in verse yeah, as a matter of fact, you know what? Let me finish this off. This is Ezekiel 35, right? So as this reads over here, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. And I will fill his mountains, and this ties into the book of Isaiah 34 too. And I will fill his mountains with his slain men in thy hills, and in thy valley, in all of thy rivers, shall they fall that are slain with the sword. Again, let me tie that in with Isaiah 34. Yeah, Isaiah 34, we're going to read. And I think it's in verse 8. But you know what I could do? I could stop by reading verse 5. As a matter of fact, you know what? Let me stop and read the first verse, and then I'm going to go all the way down to verse 7. No, verse 8. From verse 1 to verse 8. Right. You talking about me? No, he isn't. Yeah, so as this reads, come near ye nations to hear, and hearken ye people. I'm just trying to see if he was talking to me or something, because he was pointing to me. Come near ye nations to hear, and hearken ye people, and let the earth hear, and all that is therein the world, and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all, and his fury upon what? all their armies, and he have utterly destroyed them, and he have delivered them to the slaughter. And their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcass, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood, and all of the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. That's that mushroom cloud, which is going to come out of that one of those grand nuclear missiles. It's going to hit ground zero on the earth, which was demonstrated years ago. All right. And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth, or from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my soul shall be bathed in heaven. This is the Most High speaking, right? Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. And the sword of the Lord is filled with blood, and it is made fat with the fatness with the blood of the lambs and goats, and the fat of kidneys, of rams, and for the Lord have a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. So this ties into the book of what? Ezekiel 35. So I'm going to get Ezekiel 35. We're going to go and read that again. And I will fill his mountains with the slain men in thy hills, in thy valleys, and in all of thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. And I will make thee a perpetual desolations. That's Isaiah 13 as well. And thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. So everyone's going to know that the Lord did this. As it is written, I, the Lord, do all of these things. I, the Lord, make peace and create evil. Now, the Lord is a righteous power. Ultimately, the Heavenly Father is a righteous power. But in times like these, he's going to have to show his left-hand side. All right? Which is right for this particular point in time. That's what I meant to say. But the right hand and the Lord's, righteousness and his gracious and his mercy is going to be shown to the Israelites when the kingdom is established. See? So when it reads in verse 9, I will make thee a perpetual desolation, meaning America is going to be no more out of this war. So now we're going to read Psalms 37 and verse 10. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. As also as it is written in the book of Job, I believe it's the 20th chapter, right? How does it go? It says, how does it read? It says that the trialing of the wicked is short. So as this reads, for yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be, yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. Exactly. So America, or which is known as the modern Basra, also known as Babylon the Great, old daughter of Babylon, also known as Assyria and Egypt, is going to be pretty much dissolved. And once again, thanks be to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai for that. Because again, the payment has to be the case for the wrongs that was done on the land. In the book of the Lord tells you that basically if there's blood on the land which defiled the land, then guess what? That land has that land is going to be what? Is going to be cleansed. Let me go and read that because I'm going to butcher it. Let's pull this out real quick because I'm going to butcher it, y'all. Numbers 33. I think is it Numbers 35. It's Numbers 35. It's been a minute since I read this in 33, right? So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Exactly. So they which have shed the blood on the land, their blood is to be taken care of. This is where Isaiah 34 comes in. This is where Ezekiel 35 and a couple of verses that I read comes in. All right. So that's what's being prepared on a grand scale on the face of this earth right now. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this camera back to my usual spot. And we're going to see what's going to happen because some park guy, and I understood where he was coming from. He was saying that, man, a woman came up and told him, made complaints, and I believe it's the same old woman too. All right. But it's looking like that spot is very well clear to me. So I'm gonna go right back to that original spot. And we gonna take it from there, man. You know, because I'm getting my shoes dirty, which these shoes are meant to get dirty anyway. But I'm gonna go back to my original spot. And if I get hassled again reasonably, then I mean I might have to come back over here. You know what I mean? Because I haven't really been getting hassled as of late. So I'm gonna go back to my old spot, man. I'm feeling that spot even more. I'm feeling that spot a little bit more anyway. So just bear me for 1 minute. Because ain't nobody over here, man. Ain't nobody hardly over. I can understand if there was a lot of people over here, but as I'm preaching the word and I see what's happening in that spot, and ain't nobody here, man. You know, there's moments and times when people come out here and it's heavy out here, man. But for some odd reason right now, people are it's not that much people around this area. So let me position the camera correctly before we get going. Let me pull this up real quick. Yeah, let me do that. And we gonna keep going, man. We gonna keep this thing rolling. Yeah, I think that should do it right there. Yeah, so we back to square one again. Back to square one. We gonna keep this thing rolling in the Holy Spirit. Yeah, let me go on this side real quick. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, my shoes is messed up, yo. But it's all right. I got my equipment. Let me just take some of this dirt off. God dog, man. Yeah, just bear me for 1 minute. God dog. Jeez Louise. That's a lot of dirt. Anyway, I'll sort it out. I'll take care of it in due time, man. Yeah, so as this reads over here, so you should not pollute the land wherein you are, for blood is defiled the land. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Exactly. So again, that's where these scriptures are going to come in. Because when we talk about America, how that land was taken, you want to talk about from state to state. We got to conclude that there's been hundreds of millions of people that have died as a result of that. So that's just not going to just, the Most High ain't going to acquit the wicked and all of that just gets avoided. No, there has to be some sort of a payment with that. It has to be. It's just like right now in a society. Let's just say you commit a crime and you take somebody's life, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, and you get found. Guess what? You still can go, you can still get tried in court and taken to jail. And that's dealing with men on the earth. So how much more the Creator? How much more the Most High? Again, that's why this war was being prepared for these nations to deal with, man. For what they had done unto Zion. So speaking about what I just read, I want to pull this. I want to pull. I want to get that. Yeah, I want to get that in the book of man. I think that's in verse yes, verse 15. And that which the Most High have been is now. Excuse me. That which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been. And the Most High required that which is past. There you go. The Most High required that which is past. So whatever you did, whether it was good or bad, the Lord is going to judge you accordingly to the things you've done. So where it concerns the nation of Edom of the things that they have done, okay, cool, they were given the sword as their blessing. And they did well with the sword. Cool. But guess what? There still has to be a judgment. Although the Heavenly Father created them to be the wicked that the Bible speaks about, guess what? The Lord has to be just in his approach wherever it concerns that nation, the nation who he made to be the wicked, to show an example that the Lord is a power of what? Judgment, and he is a just power. What makes the Lord just? Based on his judgments. Okay, so although, for example, all of these other nations were defiled and they were doing the odious works of wickedness to show that they are defiled, the Most High still jacked them up, like Sodom and Gomorrah. All right. So, although the Lord did that and making these nations the way he made them, he still judges them, like I said. Because at the end of the day, the Lord is a just power. And what the Lord is really all about is showing us when you do evil and wickedness, that's the result you'll end up with. Which is a beautiful thing because we can learn from the mistakes of others so that we don't adopt their customs and their ways. But yet it's still, do history had it that we fell under their umbrella and we did what they did. And now as a result, now look at us in this temporal moment. We're in despair now. Okay. But we going to come out of it. We coming out of it, man. You understand? Because it feels different in the air. People are looking different out here, man. And I'm talking about the enemies among us. They looking different in the sense of a bad case, being in a bad case. So the way it's looking, man, listen, slowly but surely we coming out of this, the vibration of that dark cloud. Slowly but surely. We ain't out of it yet. We still got some bullshit to encounter in his life. But it ain't the same. The feeling ain't the same like it used to be. All right. Yeah, Esau's living in these high, these high-end places or what have you, but they're miserable as sin. They're miserable as sin, and they have this look of having a great loss. All right, of lost greatly. Let me put it that way instead. They don't look all cocky and confident and prosperous like they used to be. So it's not about what you have, it's really how you feel. All right. And they ain't feeling too good, man. Cause see, you could have the world, but guess what? You feel like a piece of what. So it's really where you're at spiritually. It's not about what you got, because where you're at spiritually is the way you're gonna feel. You know what I'm saying? So you listen, man, like right now, even though we don't really have much compared to these Edomites, but we feeling good as you're supposed to be, being that we're seeing the end of this place and we're seeing the judgment of our enemies. All right. That's it. That's all I got to say with that, man. I'm going to get back to these precepts and let the precepts do the talking. So like I said, man, or what I was reading, Salaki, about that which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been. And the Most High require that which is past. There you go. There you go. So the Lord is going to get Esau back for what he has done in the greatest way. You see what we see happening right now with this war in Iran. All of that is just a glimpse of what's really going to be had in the end. Because like I said in the beginning, the Lord is coming with a great deal of an overthrow of everything, especially where it concerns the Edomites. We're going to see their last end. See, right now, they looking good right now, living in these high-end areas and got money in their pockets excessively. You got D-Day Trump still priding himself because he believes in the military power that he has. So, right now, Esau, still kind of got it. But we don't know the last, listen, not that we don't know, we do know the last end of these Edomites. And it's not going to be good. And when I say great, don't get it twisted. When I say great, I'm talking about in a bad sense. All right. They're going to experience some great evil times. Let me use those words instead. So still, you don't want to be an Edomite. You never wanted to be an Edomite. It was never no good time to be an Edomite. Even when it was good to be an Edomite, guess what? You was already cursed, because what's going to be the end result of an Edomite? Hey, even the Bible dictionary puts it, the Zondervan Bible dictionary puts it, that Esau is going to what? Receive a great deal of a future judgment. So you better up being a Jake, suffering all throughout your life, than being an Edomite, living prosperously, knowing well that the end result is going to be absolutely terrible. Oh no. So you see, what you want is you want to suffer all around your life, and then your end be good. And that's going to be pretty much the deal for the nation of Israel. Our people, the so-called Blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians. That's going to be the deal for us. See, we've suffered all this time, but the end result is going to be goodness, rather than being blessed in this time and being cursed later terribly. Okay? And I have to say it that way to emphasize the point, because when these Edomites go down, let me turn this around. When these Edomites go down, they're going to go down in the most terrible fashion ever. That's why the scripture says, is this the nations are going to consider, is this the man that made the earth to tremble? Because when these Edomites come under us, man, I mean, it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. All right? It's going to be terrible. And speaking about that too, man, let me go and read this over here. Let's read the book of Luke. Because the parable of the poor man and the rich man gives a greater explanation of how bad Esau is going to be in, man. How bad of a world Esau is going to be in. This is Luke 16, if I'm correct. Yeah, this is, I think it's Luke 16. Is it Luke 16? Yeah, it is Luke 16. And we'll begin by reading. Where should we start? Verse 19. There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fed sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus. So that's Esau. Esau is that rich man clothed in purple and fine linen. Now, purple is a color of royalty, and fine linen is one of those fine fabrics. And fed sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, and the word Lazarus, which means God's help. And boy, do we need help, which was laid at his gate, full of sores. Okay? So he was laid at his gate full of sores. All right? And the sores represented the curses that we would suffer. Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and there'd be many more curses that we would suffer that wasn't even written in the book of the law. So that's what the sores represented. And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table, and moreover the dogs came and licked off his sores. Sorry about that. So it reads again, and in how he lift up his eyes, being in torments, see if Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. Right. So the thing of it is, now there's going to be a changing of worlds, where you're going to have them being in a poor case, a poorer situation, a damnable situation that I rather say instead. All right, and we're going to be what, in a heavenly situation. See, on this earth, there's two different states played out at the same time. You have heaven. Okay, cool. It was just loading up. Yeah. So you'll have you know, the belief among these Christians. They believe that basically if you do bad on the earth, you're gonna burn in hell and the hellfires. No. That's not how it goes. The way it goes is you'll come back on this earth as a newborn baby in a reincarnation, which the term reincarnation just simply means back in the flesh. So you come back in the flesh on the earth and you play out your judgment. And the judgment can vary. It don't gotta be a particular judgment you play out. The judgments can vary. You know, like the saying I'm gonna use. Life is like a dice game. You don't know what you're gonna be born with. Okay? But you're going to play out your judgment when you come back on the earth. Okay? And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. Exactly. So what does it mean that he was when he said that I am tormented in this flame? Come back. I want to talk to you for a minute.
I don't want to get in your video. What happened? You tricked me.
Nah. I tell you what, because I didn't really see any activity. I didn't see people walking around.
Probably getting a little bit quiet now, to be honest.
Yeah. So what I was thinking, like, if people come around, like, because sometimes when I come in this park, there's a lot of activity around this area. People be going to and fro, right? So I was thinking, okay, if there's no one here, then I might as well go back to my old spot. You know what I'm saying? But if there were, then I would go over there. That's what I was thinking.
It's just one of them ones, you know, like, because you might think like there's no one here, and then all of a sudden, like, you got people walking, and then they'll just walk and end up turning around. You just end up on the same.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm saying, though.
I know. I get what you're saying.
That's all. Just be a bit vigilant, man. But you know.
I will. Because the thing of it is, my man, you know what I was thinking too, right? I've already called the council already.
That's what
you know what I'm saying?
I said you spoke to someone in terms of this, and someone's obviously giving you the go ahead to say that.
Yeah.
Fine, as long as you're not directly filming people.
Yeah, that's it. That's all there is. And as long as I'm not getting confrontational with people either.
Yeah, definitely. That's the main thing as well.
Yeah, it's like a woman just walked past and I said, I'm sorry that I'm recorded. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not confrontational. Now you see what it is with black folk, right?
Yeah, I know exactly.
The way we talk aggressive and shit. You know what I mean? So it seems like we getting confrontation, but we not.
Just the approach and stay a step ahead.
I understand. I got you, bro. I got you, man. Stay blessed, man. Yeah, so like I was saying, man, because like I told the man, I already spoke to the council already. I already told everybody what the deal was. You know what I mean? So as long as I ain't getting confrontational with nobody or whatever, shouldn't really be a problem. And if people don't like it, man, guess what? Then it is what it is. They gonna have to deal with the council, man. Because there's no law against what I'm doing. All I'm doing is minding my business. I'm doing what I'm doing over here, and I'm gonna get right back to where I came from. That's it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, here it is, right? We've been dealing with their asses for 400 years of their bullshit. So you mean to tell me they can't deal my ass for what, 2.5, 3 hours? Come on, man, give me a break. Don't already call the right people already. They gave me the go ahead. So if I call the right people, what can you do about it? You can't do diddly squat about it. All right. Anyway, we're gonna continue on, man. And listen, I got what the man was saying. He was basically saying, look, man, just be more vigilant, because, you know what I mean? Because you never know, even things could change too. Certain things could change in the park, might change certain laws or whatever. And disallow it to be that, look, man, you can't even teach in this park no more. It might end up like one of them royal parks and shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, man, I'm minding my own business. I ain't troubling nobody. I ain't getting confrontational. We ain't getting into no political arguments and debates and all that. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it should be all right, man. Like I want to see who's talking. Right. Okay. Yeah. Some scriptures is coming out. I can't forget them scriptures. Let me get them scriptures out because the brothers got them precepts out, man. Yeah. So this is Jeremiah 50 and verse 24. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also. This is from Shahar of Yahweh. Shalom to that brother. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. And thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. Exactly. So they weren't aware, right? They weren't aware of what the wrongs that they were going to get up into doing. And so therefore the time is going to come where they're going to get caught with something that the Lord is going to bestow upon them. Case in point, the situation with Iran. All right, they thought that Iran was just going to be a 1, 2, 3 deal. It was going to be an easy thing, and it's not the case, is it? Right, which also ties in once again the Bible prophecy. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We've been saying this for years, and we're going to continue to do what we're doing. We're going to continue to do what we're doing, man, because we ain't got no choice. We have a job to do. So now I want to get back to these precepts real quick. Yeah, so now let's go and read. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with that already. Okay, cool. So now let me think. Let me go back to where I came from. Yeah. Verse 10 now. This is Ezekiel 35. And because thou hast said these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, we will possess it. And whereas the Lord was there. Yeah, so they always thought and believed that because they have conquered us, now we are given to their hands to consume. And that's the way it was to go down. Now in the book of Psalms, it also reads too that they thought that the Lord was one with them. I think that's in the book of Psalms 50 and verse 24. I like to pull that out as well, just to add that to the mix. Because they thought the Lord was down with them, man, but the Lord actually tricked them. The Lord tricked them. Yeah. The water Yahweh Bashmiyan Shah. That was a guess, man. I didn't really know that precept off heart. So thank you, Lord, for that. This is Psalms, what is it? 50 and verse 21. Yeah. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence, though thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. Exactly. So the Lord is going to reprove them. And then in the midst of that, the Lord is going to what? Set them what? My phone is acting up, yo. Let's read this again. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence, and thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. So while the Lord is reproving them, the Lord is going to set us in order, and the wicked are going to see it. That's why Psalms even also includes David in this case. He said, look, matter of fact, let me go and read it because I'm going to mess it up. So let me go and read it too. That's why this reads too in the book of Psalms 23. Thou preparest a table before me in verse 5. Psalms 23 and verse 5. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies, and thou anointest my head with oil, and my cup runneth over. So the Lord was getting us together in order in the presence of our enemies, to tie to them what I was just reading. So what's going to be something which is coming next is that they're going to be reproved. Because the reason why we're coming together as a people and knowing Yahweh Shai to be more precise with you, because Yahweh Shai is getting ready to come back to deliver his people, those that were sanctified from the beginning, the elect. So once the elect have been sanctified, then that marks the end of the iniquity that which was discovered, of course, from the Lord to Jerusalem. And then what will begin? The iniquity which will be discovered, right, of the nation of Edom from the Lord. So when I'm basically saying I'm going to put it in layman's terms. I'm going to put it in a more simple way. That would have marked the end of the judgment of the nation of Israel, going under these curses or what have you. And now the Lord is going to put these curses on the nation of Edom, an exact judgment on them. All right. And what I want to do is read that precept as well. Let me get that in the book of Lamentations, the 5th chapter. Lamentations, the 4th chapter, to be exact. Salaki about that. Lamentations 4. And rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. And the cup also shall pass through unto thee, and thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked. Right? And the punishment of thine iniquity, here's the point, O daughter of Zion. And he will no more carry thee away into captivity, and he will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom, and he will discover thy sin. So that's the thing. That's the deal. So when we come back to who we are, and take on board the gospel, which is the good tidings, then what does that mean? Excuse me. No. What does that mean, right? My mind is getting flurried, man. So just bear me for 1 minute. So when we take on board this truth, that means that we're, of course, taking on board the kingdom of heaven. We're gonna enter into the kingdom. So when the kingdom of heaven is set up, in the kingdom, they're gonna pretty much be judged. All right. So so that's all I got to read from there. I just wanted to just convey that point right there. So now let me go and read. Let's go and read this over here, because what they was also saying too. What they was also saying as well. Oh, you know what? What I forgot to read. Let me read this too. Going all over the place. Okay, so we got Ezekiel 36, right? And I've already read, what is it? Numbers 33. Let's get out of that. Let's get out of that. Because I read Psalms, 37 and verse 10, right? It says, for yet a little while. Let me read this again to recap my train of thought, because there was a point that I was reading originally, right? So this reads, it says, but the meek, let me read it again. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be, and yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. Right, so we know that the place of the wicked is going to be no more. We just went into that earlier before, but these are scriptures that I've missed. So I just want to just recap on these scriptures, and we're going to do this in order. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. So the meek, which will inherit the earth, of course, is referring to the Israelites, beginning with the elect. They which are going to be the saints which will possess the kingdom of heaven forever and ever, according to the prophecy of Daniel, Daniel the prophet, in the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter. All right, that the saints shall take the kingdom and possess it forever and ever. Okay. And so, as this reads now, the wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth, and the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. So there you go. So basically, the Lord is preparing his day for him. All right, the Lord is preparing his day for him, and as the times progress, the Lord seeth that his day is coming. So while they're gnashing against us, the Lord is laughing at them. All right. The Lord is laughing at them, because there's a great deal of judgment that's coming upon them that they're not going to be able to put away. Like they're trying to put away this war with Iran. We'll have to wait and see how that's going to go down, though, because they could pull it off. We'll have to wait and see, but I doubt it. In this case, I doubt it. So I'm done with that. Right. And also I spoke about how the land of Israel is going to be rebuilt. So I want to get back into that and finish in these two precepts And they shall build old wastes, and they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities and the desolation of many generations. So again, when we get back into that land would have been war torn, completely decimated. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, we're going to what? Rebuild those desolate places. Because there's going to be certain spots around the planet Earth that would have experienced the taste of the missiles. So these places are going to come back because we're going to repair these places. So now, as this reads here, and it's not going to be us per se. As this reads, I would like to read this too. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. There you go. Right? So you're going to have the heathen, the other nations, which will do that job for us. Because again, when we come back from off of them ships, from out of them ships, what is that going to do? What is us coming out of them ships mean? Meaning we're going to come back on the earth to rule this time around. So we ain't lifting up. No one has to do anything. We've done all the work already. We done served nation to nation. So now they're going to have to serve us. And the desolations, which would be seen on the earth by after the smoke and dust is cleared, they're gonna have to take care of all of that. But all of them dead bodies and shit, we ain't doing anything. All right, like I said, the next time we come out of them ships, by the time we come out of them ships, that's going to mark the day and time we're going to begin to rule over these nations. So yeah, and the stranger shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. But ye shall be named the priests of the Lord Yahweh. And this is in the book of Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter. Let's tie this in that too. Deuteronomy, the 4th chapter. And let's go now. If I'm correct. Yeah. You know, let me do this instead. I'm being silly. Let me do this instead. Yeah, just bear me for 1 minute. I thought I had this. As a matter of fact, it's in Revelations 1 and 6. Come on now. I should have had got this already. So this is Revelations 1 and 6. And have made us kings and priests unto the Most High and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. So that's the thing. So when we go and read this again, see, some people, they think I'm angry out here. I'm not angry. I'm just passionate about this thing. You know, I'm just passionate about what I'm doing over here. I'm not angry at anybody. You know, but that's what some people think. That's why they don't want me around here, man. Listen, I'm having a wonderful day. This is a good day. I can't complain, man, today. To be honest with you. Yeah, so I want to go back and read what I was reading before about the vine dressers. So as this reads yet again, yet ye shall be named the priests of the Lord Yahweh, and men shall call you the ministers of our power. And ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles. That's what is it, Isaiah the 60th chapter, where it reads that ye shall suck the breasts of kings. Meaning we're going to extract everything that they stole from us, because it's ours any doggone way. All of those precious jewels, those gemstones, and all of those valuable assets they got are going to be given back to us. And as well as it reads, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. And therefore in their land they shall possess the double, and everlasting joy shall be unto them. Exactly. So we're going to enjoy our portion, because our portion is going to be more than a portion. We're going to be bountiful. We're going to be abundant in treasures. And what I'm going to do as well, because I've been speaking about the whole Solomon trade group thing, I'm going to get more into that. Lord willing, maybe tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see what the Spirit say. But I'm eager to get into that, that part of history of King Solomon when he was getting so many, things from the Canaanites to beautify his kingdom and everything else. So I'm going to get into that. And then I'm going to go into the book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter, because what was going on in Solomon's time is going to happen in the kingdom. All right. So Lord willing, we can get into that tomorrow. Yeah. So let me read this again. It says, for your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. So these nations that afflicted us, they're going to be ashamed of their damn selves. And for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. And therefore in their land shall they possess the double, and everlasting joy shall be unto them. Exactly. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. Who are the them? The nation of Israel. All right. The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. They're going to be the ones to rejoice everlasting, because as it was equivalent, everlasting we struggled. Everlasting we were in despair. So again, the Lord is going to balance the scales once again. So this is a good time to be alive in. So I'm in the mood. I'm not in the bad mood at all, as some people think. Oh, hell no. Yeah, so anyway, let's tie this in with Revelations, the 22nd chapter. Right. Verse 3. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. So there ain't going to be no curse in the land when we get back into the land, and as well as among the people. We ain't going to be cursed no more. Okay? But there's a particular point in some verses that I want to read. I think it's in Revelations 21. Here it is right here. Now let's read verse 1. And I saw new heavens and a new earth, for the first heavens and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of the Most High is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and the Most High himself shall be with them and be their power. Beautiful. Now here's the point. The Most High shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Exactly. So none of those things that we are going to suffer anymore. We've suffered these things for thousands of years. From nation to nation, we've suffered cursing and vexation and all of the things which, shows that we've been the cursed people. All of those things are going to be done away with, and now we're going to live in accordance to a new meaning of life. And the new meaning of life is that everything is going to go well, instead of everything going negatively or wrong. Everything's going to be on positive mode. We're going to be on a continual excellency. All right, there ain't going to be no moments of, or let me not say moments, but up and down times. Like, we ain't going to experience that. We're going to experience continuing upward, and we're constantly going to be in rejoice mode. This is what the scripture says. All right, Revelations 21. We just read the last one that I read too, and also Isaiah 65. So we're going to be in constant rejoice mode. We're always going to be happy. Always gonna have smiles on our face. See, right now, you got a constant smile on your face, and something ain't right with you, bro. But in the kingdom, man, it's gonna be a normal thing for us to rejoice. It's gonna be a regular thing. So yeah, we could talk about the nuclear war that's gonna be had, but we also gotta look at what's gonna oversee that, which is what we do talk about. Hence is why we want all of this shit to happen to begin with. All right, because by the ruins of these nations is going to bring in the Messiah. And when the Messiah makes a second return, he's going to what? Establish a new meaning of life for the sons of God, for the Israelites. All right. And we're going to be living good. We're going to be sitting pretty on everything. And these nations, they going to make us look good. They going to make our finest garments with the finest, with the finest fabrics and what have you. We're going to eat the best food. The food is going to be A1. The earth is going to be on its optimum. So we're going to be living good. You know what I'm saying? We're going to own and run the trading routes. Oh, Isaiah the 60th chapter. That the sea shall be converted unto thee. Now, speaking of the seas, I want to show you something, man, that I was doing some research on a while back. Like I said, I'm going to get into this stuff, man. I'm going to get into the whole Solomon thing, the trade routes and all that. We're going to get into all of that tomorrow, Lord willing. To show you brothers and you sisters out there, man, they that are watching this right here, and that will watch later, how blessed we're going to be. Okay, so anyway, what I typed in before is how many seas were there on the earth, right? So they have here approximately 50 distinct seas across the globe. These are generally smaller, shallower bodies of salted water, partially by land and connected to the world's major ocean. So we're going to rule the whole entire earth. We're going to rule over all of these seas, man. All of these 50 little small seas. And you have, of course, you have the Atlantic Ocean, the South Pacific Ocean, right? The Indian Ocean, all of these oceans. So if you got all of this to yourself, that means you're going to be rich, like Benjamin said, rich until Kian done. All right. That's how we're going to be living, man. And like I said, I'm going to get more into this stuff over here. It's probably by tomorrow, Lord willing, when we set up the camp. You know what I mean? Listen, man, the way we're going to be living is going to be like none other. The joy and the glory that the heathen once had. It's going to be, it's going to be second to none. So this is the thing. This is the reason why we want this shit to happen. We want this world to go down, man. That's one of the greater reasons why. Yes, of course, we're going to get all of these things. But you know what, though? I got to look at the most important thing. And the most important thing of them all is this. The reason why we want this world to come to an end, as we should, and the reason why we want Yahushua to come back is so that he can change us from one form to another form. In the form of that which is to be that we're going to, experience immortality. What does it mean to experience immortality? In the sense of meaning that we won't sin again. All right? Because the wages of sin is death. So that's going to be the best thing on the planet Earth, is knowing the fact that we won't even be able to sin no more. We're going to be absolutely perfect. We're going to be perfect among ourselves, and we're going to be perfect towards our Father in heaven. That's the most important thing ever. So yeah, the Lord is going to beautify the meek with salvation, but that right there is going to seal the deal. Once you got that down packed, everything's all good. Like Solomon even said, what did he say? He said a well-set body is above rubies, and rubies are a very expensive, precious resource today. So like I said, once the Lord gets us to that point, we good, man. There's really nothing else to really be concerned about once we get to that level, right? So the thing with us, brothers and sisters, man, is we have a bright future. We have a bright future ahead of us, man. So yeah, we could suffer for a moment, but the suffering for a moment is not going to be comparable. That's why the apostle, now I kind of see what the apostle Paul was saying when he said that for this affliction is yet a light affliction, because it cannot be compared to the eternal weight of glory. So I mean, if you thought one thing was just going, seal the deal with everything being cool, such as what I just mentioned, guess what? There's more that the Lord has to put on top of that. If you thought that was just all good, no, the Lord got more good on top of that. And I want to also include the scripture too. The scripture says that there's things neither heard nor have been spoken that the Heavenly Father has prepared for his servants. So there's a great deal of good coming for the sons of God. So when you really check it, we can deal with the suffering. And the suffering is almost over and up. All right, it feels like it. So yeah, we're gonna go through Jacob's trouble. Yeah, we're gonna go through affliction like you ain't never seen before. But guess what? All of that in combination, the tribulational times that we face in our current life, even up to that moment in time. Listen, when the Lord bestows that glory upon us, all of that shit in the old world, which is really what this is all about. This is the last of the old world, this empire. But everything that happened in the old world, it's going to be literally out the picture for good. All right? It's not going to be. It's not going to be remembered in our heads, man. Now, we're going to know the history because, of course, this is going to be had, the records of the Israelites and the other nations is going to be, but we're not going to remember that. We're going to forget about that kind of stuff, man. Because we're going to be so abundant in doing well. It's just not really going to be in our mind. Yeah, I just read that, brother. I just read that. Yeah, so, yeah, man. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's some scriptures that the brother got over here. GMS Salvation of the Elect, Deuteronomy 32, verse 28. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon the land of corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew. Exactly. So what does it mean that the land of corn and wine? Because that whole entire region over there with Israel and, places like Israel, Lebanon, and, that eastern region, that's also known as the Fertile Crescent. Or let me say it in this way, the Fertile Crescent. So we can only but imagine when the earth returns back to its optimum after the nuclear destruction is had, how fertile that land is going to be. So if that land is going to be super fertile and even other parts of the planet Earth, how wealthy we are going to be in the kingdom. Just something that came to mind. So once again, brothers, man, we're going to be good. We're going to be living too good. If you thought Solomon's kingdom was bad, listen, you ain't seen Yahweh Shai's kingdom. All right? Oh, man. Like I said, I'm going to get into that history, man, of Solomon and them trade routes. We're going to get into all of that. Lord willing. Like I'm going to keep on saying, because everything's by the will of the Lord, Yeah, so let me go and read this now. Let's go and read Isaiah 58 and verse 12. And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places, and thou shalt raise up the foundations of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairer, the breach, and the restorer of path to dwell in. So the New Jerusalem is going to be known as the repairer. Now, remember, we're going to be doing this by the power of Yahweh Shai, because it's by the power of Yahweh Shai that he's going to make all things new. So he's going to make Jerusalem new, and then the New Jerusalem is going to make all things new in regards to the land of Israel. And under us, the whole entire planet Earth is going to be brought to is going to be brought to is brilliant. Going to make the earth brilliant. Even the vibration we're going to have is just going to be something. And these nations, they're going to see the glow, man. Like for example, you know, the term soul glow. Listen, man, the world is going to see the soul glow in Jacob. And you're going to know, okay, yeah, that's an Israelite right there. Right? Especially the people that turn into the righteousness. That as that's written in the book of Daniel. Yeah, so let me read this again. And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places, and thou shalt raise up the foundations of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairer of the breach, and a restorer of paths to dwell in. And if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, shall honor him, in not doing thine own way, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then thou shalt delight thyself in the Lord Yahweh, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh have spoken. Exactly. So the Lord have spoken. So we're gonna be able to get the high places of the planet Earth, just like Esau. Esau was born to rule with the sword, right? And with him being born, and him being born with the sword, which is indicative that he would cause destructions on the earth. He would live in the fatness of the earth. All right, meaning the richest part of the earth which holds more, valuable assets. Or let's just even include a great amount of land he would have a rulership over. Okay, so the same thing is going to be for Jacob. Jacob is going to be able to possess the high places of Jerusalem, the land of Jerusalem, which we put the name in Jerusalem, as well as it's written that were people before the place even became into being, right? Because before we even came on that land, that land was also known as the land of Canaan, because you had the Philistines that were there and the Canaanites that were there. So when it was given to Israel to conquer those nations, we put the name Israel on that land, and also Jerusalem. Okay. So we're going to possess the high places. In other words, the greatest places on the earth in the kingdom. So again, it's just going to be an excessively good time for the nation of Israel. Every single day is going to be an excessively good time for Israel. There's going to be a party every single day. All right, you listen. If you, hey, listen, man. Check this out, brothers. If you got one brother, listen, it's going to be like this, right? You're going to have one brother having a good old time partying, and then when you go see the next brother's house in his palace, he ain't even going to have houses. Our house is going to be for palaces. You go to the next brother's palace and shit, he's going to be partying it up. Everywhere you go is going to seem like a party. Like, look at Jake right now. Jake like to party in these clubs, go crazy in these clubs, and they're in the house. So just imagine how it's going to be in the kingdom. Every day is going to be a good day. Now that can't be imagined right now, because all we ever know is up and downs and more downs and up. But in our world, in the kingdom, when Yahweh Shah establishes his kingdom, it's going to be continual gladness. It's going to be continual goodness. Okay, so the thing with Esau can come whatever he coming with, man. And we want him to come with the chip. We want him to come with this nuclear war and everything, and to bring this shit to a complete halt. Because guess what, man? We got a future to experience. And we can't experience that until this is dissolved, until this is all the way done away with. That's why we don't give a shit. That's why we come out here and we do. That's a part of the reason why we don't care. This is the reason why we do what we do, is, well, yes, we're driven by fear originally, but at the same time, we don't care about this world too. We don't care. We're also driven by the fact that, and we kind of get a kick out of it too. When you think about it, we get a kick out of, annoying people in some cases. You know what I mean? Because they've been annoying us. So yeah, what's wrong with it? You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, this is the thing though, man. Like, this is the reason why we do what we do as well, just to include, because hey man, who would not want to be a part of that? Of the reward of the Lord himself. All right. So let me stop talking, man. And let me get right back to the scriptures that I have. And what I want to do is I want to check to see how long I've been out here for. But damn, I only did 2 hours, man. Well, I'm gonna have to close this out because it's kind of late anyway. It's touching towards that time. So yeah, as this reads here, once again, I'm gonna read this scripture and I'm gonna close this out. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own way, nor finding out thy own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of the Lord have spoken. And we already have our heritage already. We already got that already. Now remember, the Lord said that he would discontinue from us from our heritage, right? And that he would be displeased for us forever. Something along those lines in Jeremiah 17. But now we've returned back, and now we've reconsidered everything that was done to us and why it was done to us. So now when you're involved in when you're involved in knowing who you are as an Israelite, now you can partake in the inheritance. How can you partake in inheritance of something that doesn't belong to you? So what we found out is that, okay, yeah, we're the descendants of Jacob. So now we know what belongs to us, and what belongs to us are these covenants and the various promises that was given. All right. And that's why now we can say that in the kingdom of heaven, this and that is going to happen with Jacob, and it's all going to be good. So that's all I got to say, man. With this, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rekah HaKodash, and double honor to the elder apostles of the great known so that have taught us this truth very well. And Lord willing, this lesson or this live was edifying. And it's your brother Laban, and I'm out. Shalom. So all of you, you Akim and the Akwav Yam. Shalom.